Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 8, verses 1 through 18. Ezekiel is still carrying out the siege against Jerusalem prophetically. He's lying on his side. He's lying on his side, bearing the sins of the Jewish people, right, as a priest or prophetic action. And elders from the Jewish exiles that are there in Babylon have come to see what's going on with him. And while they're there, the hand of the Lord comes upon him. You may think about this as sort of the heaviness of God's Spirit comes upon him and catches him up into a vision. And he sees a man of brilliance. He describes him as having fire and a glowing metal. And really to think about this as the glory of the Lord is shining through this servant of God. And he grabs Ezekiel by the hair, like Ezekiel wouldn't come on his own, so he grabs him by his hair, and he takes him to the entrance of the inner court of the temple in Jerusalem. And he's at what would be called the altar gate, because it was the closest to the altar. And he says, do you see what they're doing? Do you see the idolatry that my people are engaging in? And remember that in the Mosaic covenant, the covenant that Moses gave them, aka the Ten Commandments, that the Lord is their God alone. The Lord does not mingle or mix with other gods or goddesses. There's no idolatry allowed. And so the first god, the scholars say, is Asherah, a Canaanite mother goddess that's set up in the temple. And Ezekiel says, and it's this image that provokes the Lord to jealousy. And I want you to, what is it about you that makes God jealous? Well, the jealousy of God is a sign of the gospel, and that God loves you. You are loved by God, and he's going to redeem you. And that's what provokes him to jealousy, is that he cares. And in verse 6 and verse 13 and 15, the phrase basically says, you're going to see even greater abomination that my people are committing. And so next, he has him dig through a wall, and he sees these various chambers where these elders are secretly worshiping idols, these animal and reptilian gods, most likely from Egypt. And they're in a dark of their room, and they think that no one can see. They think that God doesn't see, that God isn't present. And so it's okay if they do this. And and that's not true. They think that God is not all-powerful, omniscient, right? All-knowing. And they're saying that God is not faithful, but God is faithful. The next scene is that of the women are mourning the god Tammuz, who was a fertility god of the Near East. And the women are lamenting his seasonal death, perhaps in late summer, or else they're wailing for his revival in early spring. But again, this fertility god, instead of looking to the Lord to provide what they need. And then lastly, he goes into the inner court, and there's 25 men, but the only people allowed in the inner court are the priests. So these are 25 priests, but maybe not anymore because they're not worshiping the Lord. They turn their back on the altar and they're worshiping the sun, a gas ball, which was strictly forbidden by Moses in Deuteronomy. And so all of this is, he's saying, you are provoking me because it's no trivial matter that you do these detestable things and you poison my worship, but you also are bringing violence to the people. You're damaging the whole society. And I'm not going to look on them. I'm not going to give them pity when they turn their backs on me. Well, hey, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.